You want to enjoy whiskey, but you don't want the whiskey burn. Well, what if whiskey wasn't hard to drink? What if it was easy? What if I told you it can be? Try the light, easy taste of Canadian Mist whiskey. Triple distilled and aged in oak on the shores of the Georgian Bay. Canadian Mist. All whiskey, no bite. Drink responsibly. Canadian Mist, blended Canadian whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume, Brown-Forman, Louisville, Kentucky.
Bill Blaschke, Tim Calishow, Israel Gutierrez, Kevin Blackistone. Gentlemen, today, LeBron goes home. What it means for the Cavs, for the Heat, and for the NBA, and for him. Also, if there's any time left in life after all that, the World Cup final, Germany and Argentina. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
A little event for the World Cup finals. LeBron just jumped the World Cup final. How big is he?
It's Around the Horn. Here's Tony Reali.
Woo! Welcome back around. First, wellness check. Israel Gutierrez. Blink twice if you're okay. Blink 120 times if Miami is okay. Oh, no. We'll get to your city in a sec. First word.
It's the first word.
So much in this afternoon's announcement. First, the literal news that it's happened. LeBron's going back to Cleveland. Also, how it happened. Sports Illustrated with Lee Jenkins. Self-penned piece by LeBron. No press conference, no party, no promises of a championship. Time to work, he writes. His calling and responsibility to lead, his readiness to accept the challenge and go home. Fellas, the contrast between this article here and the decision here and the TV show and the decision 4 years ago stark. What was your immediate reaction, Bo Plaschke?
I was thrilled. This is a great day for the sports world as far as redemption, as far as going back home, as far as 4 years ago this guy was, remember, our leading sports superstar in this country was despised 4 years ago for what he did. 4 years later, this shows that through all the narcissistic awfulness that sports world can be, a guy can grow up, a guy can get perspective, and a guy can go home. And that's what he's doing, and he did it the classy way with a classy letter. His letter trumps Dan Gilbert's letter. His letter trumps the decision. His letter trumps. All I can see is this guy says he wants to go home and be a leader in Northeast Ohio. It's a very cool day for sports.
Tim Calishow?
I agree. I think you take Dan Gilbert's letter of hate from 4 years ago, and LeBron answers it with a letter of love. And for the city of Cleveland, for Northeast Ohio, showing incredible maturity, going through how he made the decision then and how he would still do it again because it was like going to college from him. But now he realizes it's best to go home. And he does this, not knowing what the Cavaliers are going to have. There are all kinds of rumors. Maybe they have Kevin Love, maybe they don't. You don't know how it's going to play out. He may be going to a pretty mediocre team because that's what they were last year. But he feels it's the right time to do it. And the manner in which he did it, you got to applaud him.
Israel?
Two things that I thought right away after reading it. The first one was, since everybody likes to compare him to Michael Jordan anyway, this was kind of his Michael Jordan's version of I'm back, except he didn't go away to play baseball. He went to Miami to try to win championships. And the second thing is that, look, LeBron James came to Miami to win championships, right? But what you don't know is that tug of home and how serious it always is. And I've said this the entire time throughout this whole process. If he wanted to go back to Cleveland because it's what he calls home or the closest thing NBA-wise that he calls home, there's nothing anybody can say to convince him otherwise because that's the natural tug that people don't really understand. It's different from Dwayne Wade, say, playing in Miami his entire career. If he were to go somewhere else, he wouldn't feel the pressure to come back because it's not home to him. Chicago's home to him. Cleveland is Northeast Ohio.
You're right about that. There's nothing anyone can say because the idea was he wasn't sure what he was going to do for the last couple of days, the last 96 hours. This was penned, not this morning, you would imagine, Kevin Blackistone. There's a lot of thought and time that went into this.
Yeah, and it's really a reflection to me of LeBron James's maturation, not only from being a teenager in a man's league to where he is today, but just over the last 4 years. I mean, you pointed out the contrast. This was more than a contrast. This was an antithesis to everything that happened 4 years ago. Just think about it. This was old media. This was Sports Illustrated. This was the written word. This was not ESPN. It was not social media. It was not on television. And to think of how everyone else has changed in this remarkable deal as well, in terms of the ownership in Miami, not following down Dan Gilbert's path of excoriating LeBron and celebrating and thanking him for the 4 years that they brought him. So, you know, this was really a learning.
Kevin, can I ask you this? Do you see this as LeBron wanting to make things right from a previous wrong?
I don't think he wants to make things right from a previous wrong, although he has admitted over time, and he said in his letter that the 4 years before were misinterpreted in terms of what he thought he was trying to do.
Flashkey, you want to try to answer that?
Yeah, I think what's so cool about this is a basketball Superman doing something very human, something who among us would not want to go home and make where we come from a better place. That's what he's doing here. It relates to the heart of all of us.
Israel.
I do think that he's been wanting to sort of right a wrong with the people of Cleveland and people of Northeast Ohio. I also think if you look at it, it sort of resets how we're going to judge him in the long term. Because like he said on there, they might not be ready to win this year. They might not be ready to win it next year. So the title count, the ring count is not necessarily, hey, I got to get 6, I got to get 7. If he does win 1 or 2 in Cleveland, he's accomplished a lot more than anybody would have.
I just love the fact that he says there's no party, no press conference. It's time to go to work. Total opposite of 4 years ago.
Kevin, you brought up the Dan Gilbert letter. Does that need to be addressed in any way? Does their relationship at all publicly need to, does there need to be some sort of healing?
Oh, well, I think this is the healing. And let's not forget, Dan Gilbert was the last one to apologize, and we haven't really heard from him. LeBron James has apologized in bits and pieces over the years, and this is just the latest of that. Now, I do think that there's going to be a segment, and I've heard from them already, some very learned friends of mine in academia who are very upset that LeBron James is, in fact, going back into Dan Gilbert's fold after the humiliation that they felt that Dan Gilbert dumped upon him upon leaving.
Well, if LeBron's making the decision to come back, how should anyone else have an opinion on how people feel about it?
Everybody had an opinion before.
What's now? Miami, and Wade, and Bosh, and Riley, and the Heat, and the fans, and Levitard, and Gutierrez. What now? Israel, it's not so much about how you pick up the pieces right now, but how this all got away, right? How should Miami, the team, the city, feel right now?
There could be some people that are upset. I would say Dwayne Wade has probably got some mixed emotions here, given that he gave up, $40 million of guaranteed money. Overall, though, I think LeBron benefited from Miami, and Miami obviously benefited from LeBron. Not to say that he fell into their lap, but it was something, that they didn't have for 7 years, when he was in Cleveland, obviously, and then he decided to come to Miami because of Dwayne Wade and the pull of winning championships. So both sides really benefited from this. I think what's interesting now is what Miami does here, because not only is it LeBron gone, but it's the idea that Chris Bosh might very well sign with the Houston Rockets. And then do you wonder, okay, should Wade start looking elsewhere? Would Wade stay put? And then there's also the Pat Riley factor. Pat Riley's built up this team and knocked it down and built it up and knocked it down and built it up. Is he ready to keep going and do this again? So it could be a lot more than just LeBron leaving. It could be an entire sort of
Israel, Kevin alluded to Mickey Harrison's tweet earlier that he was shocked and disappointed, but also thankful for LeBron for the last 4 years. So for the greater question, should they be thankful for 4 years or feel scorned?
I think they should be thankful. Again, look, I think they should feel the tiniest bit scorned because, like Cleveland did 4 years ago, they don't really they have to sort of pick up the pieces quickly, and maybe they could have gotten a little bit of a heads up. But I do think he gave them the last second to try to
scorned is what Israel says. Kalisha, what do you think of that?
No, I think he's got the fans of Miami taking a real high road that might come later, and they will appreciate it then. But today, I've got to think they feel not betrayed. It's nothing like the Cleveland fans feel, but they've got to feel a little bit of anger and a little bit of surprise, saying, hey, this team just went to the finals 4 times in a row. Nobody in the East has touched you yet, and only a great performance by the Spurs, kept you from winning 3 in a row. Why not sustain this thing? Why not keep it going? And that didn't happen.
Blackstone.
Once again, I just got to point back to the fact that the people said about LeBron leaving Cleveland. What part of free agency do people not understand? The people in Miami should be very, very thankful, feel very fortunate, extremely lucky that he chose them 4 years ago, brought them 4 consecutive finals and 2 trophies out of it. No reason to feel scorned. He exercised his right.
Flashkey.
Yes, Miami people should just say thank you and goodbye. Again, a team, you live by free agency, you die by free agency. This is how it works. He comes here, he was a hired gun, he wasn't drafted there, he wasn't a homegrown kid. He came in, did his job, got him 2 championships. Goodbye, thanks for the memories, move on.
How do you think Reali feels, though, Israel?
I think Reali, I don't think he has time for emotions. I think he's scrambling right now, trying to see if Carmelo Anthony's still available, Pau Gasol, Luol Deng. I will ask this question, though. Would have been really interesting to see if that tug, that pull to go back home would have been just as strong if he had won 3 straight titles in Miami.
Kalish, the last word of the
I just want to ask Plasky about that thank you and goodbye. Is that what everybody said to Shaq when he left? And when he and Kobe couldn't get along? Was everybody, hey, that was good.
Yeah,
That was good, Ron.
actually they did.
Good, Ron, go on, you go win.
Yeah, actually they did, because Shaq wasn't homegrown here either, no.
I don't know about that, Flashkey. I honestly don't know. Flashkey 10, Kalish 13, Gutierrez 10, Blackstone 10. We're going to put a bookmark in this right now. Break for the people who pay the bills. Coming up, buy or sell. And it's the what now for the rest of the league. Melo and Powell and Love. And also what now for this man right here, David Blatt. I fell into the greatest spot of life all time, head coach of the Cavaliers. The Ringo Starr of the NBA. Stick around.
Buy or sell.
You guys want to laugh? Vegas already has the Cavs as favorites next season, 3-1. The Heat are 100-1, but those are Terry Benedict's casinos. LeBron, Irving, Wiggins right now for Cleveland, but there's some of the opinion Wiggins can turn into Love, and that's when things get interesting. We see you there, Love. All helmed by Blatt, David Blatt, and that's where other things get interesting. First-time NBA head coach, first-time head coach in America on any level after 22 years abroad. Bill, buy or sell the Cavs as presently constituted?
I'm selling. The only video of Blatt is wearing the Russian polo jersey. It's got to be something else of him wearing out there. No, actually, I'm selling them as constituted. It's a great story. They're not a championship team. They need to get a Kevin Love in there. Otherwise, it's going to take them 2 or 3 or 4 years to get there. And who knows how LeBron will be 3 or 4 years from now.
So you have to make the Love deal. You would trade Wiggins. You would trade Bennett. You would trade everybody except for Kyrie Irving and LeBron James.
I would trade Bennett and Wiggins in a minute. Yes, you have to do it now.
Kalish, how about you?
I'm going to sell it too, and there are some thoughts in the analytics world that Kyrie Irving, not being a great catch-and-shoot player, is not even a great fit to play with LeBron. So even the best player on the team, there are questions about him. This right now is not any better than the Cleveland team that frustrated LeBron and forced him to leave.
Gutierrez.
Well, I will say there was a lot of that same talk about Dwayne Wade and LeBron James not being able to play together, and that worked out pretty decently. But I'm selling the roster as currently constituted for a couple of reasons. Even if they do get Love, you're talking about Kyrie and Kevin Love, who I think are great players, but have 0 playoff experience between the two of them, and defensively are not the greatest. And plus with David Blatt there, I don't know how he's going to be able to coach an NBA defense. Maybe he's got a good idea, maybe he doesn't, but we'll see.
So that's 3 so far. Very bearish on this Cavs roster. How about you, Kev?
I'm bearish as well, but I'm bearish because LeBron James himself, one of the smartest people in basketball and most powerful people in all of sports, said so himself in his own letter. He said, not ready to win right now. It's going to take some time, and he knows what he's talking about. You just can't he alone will not just elevate them into the finals.
So much was made of his coach Spoelstra in Miami, and before that, his coach Mike Brown in Cleveland. Kevin, the idea of his relationship with Blatt, does that in any way concern you? Should it concern Cavs fans?
Well, I don't think it should concern him unless he doesn't like him. I mean, he's just going to get to know him right now. One of his former high school mates has played against his teams. Look, this guy has been a professional coach for quite some time.
So much made of the power of LeBron that he was wielding in all this. One player holding an entire league in the palm of his hand. The state of the NBA right now, Tim. Good, better, best place it could possibly be?
I think it's better than it was a couple days ago, and I think you have a lot of teams, everybody's been on hold. Now everybody is anxious to get things done. Any team you pick anywhere. Dallas waiting to hear about Parsons and stuff with Houston. There's a lot going on, and it's going to be fun to see.
Israel?
Player movement is always interesting. It always helps elevate interest. You don't want to get bored with the same old routine. That's why a lot of people don't like dynasties. So I do think sort of reshuffling things and getting, Miami out of the favorite and getting Cleveland back in the mix, I think it's always
a player wielding so much power, Kevin Blackstone?
I like that because he's taken the power away from the owners. This is manifest destiny on the part of the players. And I'll say this, if you are in the East, you are excited now because Miami is not sitting there at the top as a team you have to get over. Everybody, I think, moves up a notch.
NBA's got to love it. It's the middle of July, and everybody's talking NBA right now. I was in the Dodger dugout yesterday before Clayton Kershaw trying to continue his scoreless inning streak, and everybody's talking NBA. Don Mattingly's talking NBA. The fact that LeBron, this is our new sports royalty, are the NBA guys. We love royalty. We love watching them. We love talking about them. And also, nobody's talking about Donald Sterling except me. So it's a great, great spot.
So now all the dominoes fall, right? You alluded to Bosh earlier. Bosh in Houston. Wade back to Miami, question mark. Powell back to L.A., question mark. And then there's Melo, his hesitancy to re-sign with the Knicks. Some thought LeBron related. Others think Chicago and L.A. still enticing. And now you have to ask, what about Miami and Melo? Israel, how do you think today's events affect Carmelo?
I think they affect him greatly in a couple of ways. One, you mentioned Miami. See if Pat Riley can sort of piece together a team that says, hey, Cleveland's not ready yet. We can go ahead and continue this for a while. Also, Chicago, too. If he sees an opportunity to win right away because LeBron's not running the East, he can go there as well.
Blackstone.
Well, I don't think this should impact him on thinking about going to Miami, because if he does that, he'll always be compared to LeBron, and trying to get over that hurdle will be way too much. I still think he should stay in New York where he's with Pat Riley.
Right. I mean, if he went to Chicago for your last point, he'd be compared to Michael Jordan. If he goes to L.A., compared to Kobe Bryant. How about you, Plashke?
I think it's clear Anthony was waiting for something to happen here. Now that it's happened, I think Chicago becomes the best option because, again, he wants to win. He can win now in Chicago. Or he could be like LeBron, who wants to lead where he's from back to a championship and stay in New York. Either way, I think this gives him more perspective on his decision. That's why he waited.
I think this leads him to staying in New York. You realize now there is no single great team in the East. Anybody can rise up, and he can stay where the money is, stay where Phil Jackson is, and make it work where he's been for 4 years.
Leads to an arms race in the NBA, though, which is never a bad thing. Kalishaw 21, Gutierrez 20, Flackerson 19, Plashke 18. Weekend starts right now. Bill.
I know I want to ask you about the World Cup because I'm in the 95 percentile of the pool. Argentina's going to win because Pope Francis is from Argentina and he's cheering for us.
All right, so that's the preview. Before the preview, Bill Plashke, 95th percentile. How does he do it? No, seriously, how does he do it? Lightning round next. Coming up, the World Final. Germany and Argentina. Entire nation's hopes and fears riding on you. Don't tell me that. I'm Woody Page for a living. Sport! Kalishaw 21, Gutierrez 20, Blackstone 19. Anybody's ball game in the lightning round. Germany-Argentina, third time meeting in the final. In 86, Maradona. In 90, Matthaus and Klinsmann. No team has ever come in hotter than Germany because no team scored 7 in the semi. They've been installed as favorites, but only one team has Messi. And here it is, his moment, his potential succession to the throne. Who should be feeling more pressure right now, Tim? Germany or Messi?
I think it's got to be Messi. To longtime Argentina fans, he may never be Maradona. In other words, he may never be God, but he can come awfully close if he can get that last thing on his resume and get that World Cup victory.
It's real.
Oh, it's definitely Messi in terms of the pressure because, I mean, nobody on that Germany team is being considered the best player of all time. And Messi really, and he's talked about it, really how important it is for him to want to hold up that cup. I think it's interesting. I also think it's interesting they've kind of become the opposite of what you thought they would be. Really strong defensively, not great offensively. We'll see if Messi can turn that around in the final.
Yeah, but Germany coming off a 7-1 thrashing of Brazil, everyone's favorite in this thing on their home soil, was absolutely amazing. I think elevates them to a level that all the pressure is on them to win this thing for their country.
Do you believe the inner sanctum is waiting for Messi here, Kevin? Pele, Beckenbauer, and of course Maradona. Could he rise? He's a global superstar to an American superstar with a win on Sunday?
I mean, possibly, but he's going to have to score, which is not something he's done the last few outings.
I want some picks. Kalishaw, who you got?
Argentina wins 1-1.
I'm hanging on to Germany.
Blackstone.
Too much defense with Germany.
Let's see what you did there, TC. You got Argentina in picks. Blackstone, weekend starts now. Wave goodbye. That's it, KB. Showdown next. Kalishaw, Gutierrez. 2 enter, only 1 will leave. And straight ahead, Lego Derek Jeter. Kind of cool. Not as cool as Lego Mike Gallego, but kind of cool. And also, consulting your notes in between picks. Fair or foul? Gutierrez, Kalishaw, 2 quick ones, 30 seconds of face time. Good luck to you both. two things that went kind of unnoticed in the shootout earlier this week. The shot and save that almost went in, but didn't cross the line.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, would have counted. And Argentina keeper Sergio Romero pulling crib notes from his shorts in between kicks to study up on the Dutch, and it worked. Tim, should the Netherlands feel even worse now?
No, they should. What are those notes going to say? One kick goes this way, one kick goes this way, and what am I going to do? Stand you know, the ball is what the guy. I can't believe that ball didn't go in, but no, they have nothing to feel sorry.
No, they shouldn't feel any worse. Yes, the ball got really, really close, but it still didn't go, and it didn't really matter. And yeah, Tim stole my thunder with the this away.
This away. Killer Goodfellas reference. You kept the match with a good Killers reference. All these things I just did. We'll move on. Lego, Derek Jeter, and the rock and roll city guitar. Izzy, what gift that Cleveland gave number 2 would you rather have?
Well, I don't play any instruments of any sort other than air guitar, so I'm going to have to do away with the guitar. But obviously, the Lego thing, I mean, I love the Lego movie. It was really good. And that song, I can't get it out of my head. Everything is awesome. You go, Tim.
I love Chris Pratt. I didn't think the Lego movie really made it for me, but the guitar, Bernie Williams can teach him how to play it. Great jazz guitarist. You can go reconnect with Bernie. It's a cool-looking guitar. Take the music.
I like the Lego. You know, Lego Mike Gallego was my fantasy team name for about 3 or 4 years. Now Lego Derek Jeter applies. All these things that I've done. Points, games, FaceTime.
Favorite band.
Normally, I hate a lot of things about the NBA's free agency, and in fact, their whole salary cap structure with aprons and expiring contracts and biannual exceptions and all the things the average fan doesn't really have a grasp of. That was how the NBA was till yesterday. I feel everything kind of changed today. It just seems like a feel-good story for everybody but a few people in Miami. And for that, I want to say farewell to Israel. We've enjoyed having you on the show while Miami was a relevant city. I thought you've really done a better job in your second tour of duty. It's a nice tie you got going, but I know you've got plenty to do down there. Enjoy the Dolphins.
Dallas teams have been doing real good lately, huh?
Oh, you know, if we're going to get rid of reporters and panelists come from a city relative to win anything, we can get rid of Dallas as well. Timmy?
Maybe I need to rethink
Timmy, yeah.
Everybody.
Everything you said applies to the Cowboys. Let's do it, folks. Thanks for coming around. 71.5 hour break. We'll see you Monday.
Parsons column.